Kogi State is one of Nigeria's 36 states strategically located in the country's north-central geopolitical zone. The state was carved out of the old Kwara and Benue states on the 27th of August 1991 under the regime of then military president Ibrahim Babangida. The state is popularly referred to as the Confluence State, as two of Africa's largest rivers, River Niger and River Benue, meet at Lokoja, the first administrative capital of Nigeria and present-day capital of Kogi State. Since its creation, the state has had 4 chief executives. Late Prince Abubakar Audu held sway at 2 different periods between January 1992 and May 2003. Alhaji Ibrahim Idris was state governor from May 2003 till January 2012, while Captain Idris Wada took over and was governor between January 2012 and January 2016. The man at the helm of affairs today in Kogi State is Alhaji Yahya Bello, who at the age of 40 is Nigeria's youngest elected state governor. Bello holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Accounting and Masters of Business Administration from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and is a Fellow of the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN. Yahya Bello was sworn in on January 27, 2016 as governor after a keen and bitterly contested set of elections in 2015. Bello says his emergence as governor is not by his own making, adding that it was decreed by God and made reality by the good people of Kogi State.
Now God we know. You are all united today celebrating the outcome. My people, you are the big constituency I have, and I am responsible for and to each and every one of you. Nigeria has a rich diversity of tradition, culture, and history, but it is instructive that in searching for a philosophy for new direction, my team and I do not have to go far to locate the perfect response for our time.
Because of those who are waging war against God, when God says yes, no man can say.
As mentioned earlier, Kogi State is strategically located in north-central Nigeria. The state shares boundaries with the Federal Capital Territory to the north, with Nasarawa State to the northeast, Benue State to the east, with Enugu State to the southeast, and with Anambra State to the south. Its southwest border is shared by Edo State, its northwest border by Kwara State, while its western borders are shared by Ondo and Ekiti states. This has given rise to an ethnically diverse state made up of 3 main groups, the Igala, Ibira, and Okun, and other smaller-sized ethnic groups, which include the Basa, Nupe, Ogorimagongo, Idoma, and Egan communities. The ethnic diversity for some governors will seem to be a challenge, but for Yahya Bello, it is a strength he intends to leverage on by being fair to all.
These are tough times for sure, but they are by no means impossible times. We will continue to confront them with courage and creativity. We have made appointments in a way calculated to unite our people across the state and foster participation in governance by all positive and progressive persons. I nominated His Excellency Right Honorable Simon Achuba as Deputy Governor and appointed Honorable Edward David Onoja as my Chief of Staff. They are both from Kogi East. Mrs. Ayo Ade Folashade Arike from Kogi West became Secretary to Kogi State Government. So far, we have appointed 21 special advisors, 1 from each local government areas of Kogi State. All appointments have continued to reflect the twin principles of equity and merit.
Since his assumption as governor of Kogi State, the strategy is working.
The dividend of democracy that they've not been enjoying in the last years, they'll begin to enjoy it. And it will affect everybody, not just the rich, not just the known, even the unknown in the society. We know that we have a government that has their love at heart.
Without increasing the manpower, we have been able to review again, to take a second look at the statutory function of each of the second organ, study why they have not been able to perform optimally to what they have done, replan and redistribute the available source, and articulate the job schedule of each and every of these organs.
He also embarked on improving the state security of lives and properties.
To this end, any form of criminal, starting from touts, thuggery, cultists, armed robbers, kidnappers, and the likes, any house that they are being apprehended, that house will go down. So we have to be vigilant. We have to be watchful. Let me equally send this message to our fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters who harbor and aid those criminals, that there's a law in place. In the past, some leaders or those past leaders don't have the political will to enforce it. But by the grace of God, I will enforce it. And that law is that if a criminal is apprehended, the parents of those criminals will be called upon, they will be charged for neglecting their wards or for not bringing up their children on the right way.
Upon assumption of office, Governor Yahya Bello pledged to make education a top priority. Apart from hundreds of primary and secondary schools situated across the 21 local government areas of the state, it owns the Kogi State University, Ayamba, the Kogi State Polytechnic, Lokoja, and the Kogi State College of Education at Ida, as well as the School of Agriculture in Kaba. The governor's pledge to accord education top priority was met with a huge challenge as he was faced with a backlog of unpaid lecturer salaries inherited from the previous administration. Another major challenge Governor Yahya Bello faced upon assumption of office was the existence of ghost workers in the state civil service, and in times where every penny counts, the governor couldn't afford to fold his hands and watch.
The state is tired of leakages, is tired of wastages. The state is tired of having the fund and not being able to use the fund effectively.
We discover that the state is losing hundreds of millions every month to ghost workers. Our own definition of ghost worker is quite different. We can dichotomize the classes. One class are those names that are not even existing at all. Some people will smuggle the names on the payrolls and be taking their salaries. The second dichotomy covers the class of people who are living in Kano, Kaduna, doing some other works there and still receiving salaries from Kogi State for doing nothing, for contributing nothing.
Like most innovations, the screening exercise was met with resistance, especially among the labor unions, but Governor Bello's mixture of doggedness and fairness in the exercise left all parties satisfied.
The intention for which you have in your mind to set up this committee, I believe we sat and we discussed over it, including your chief of staff. We were looking for ways to block the leakages in government. We were looking for ways to see those who are ghost workers in the system, not those who are genuine workers and their names will no longer appear. His Excellency, I will want you to take a critical decision on this matter because it is telling well on us and you all over the country today. And it is equally telling on our political position in Kogi State. Hence, we still demand that the general should be removed and his replacement be made. His Excellency, we are not compelling you to do this, but we are only asking you for the purpose of clarity and for you not to be pet with your people in Kogi State, which God has appointed you to come and rule. The organized labor is demanding for his removal as chairman of this committee.
The exercise You tell me who your chairman is, we will inaugurate him here right now, then you swing into action.
But you have clearly demonstrated that you are a true son of your father and your conscience is large enough to accommodate the workers of Kogi State. Within the short consultation we have had, to prove to you that within Labour and the committee you set up, we have no mind to try to change the assignment you have given us. We have deemed it fit that since this work has been rubbish to a very large extent, we need somebody that can step above board, who has an integrity to protect. Somebody who by virtue will destroys this work beyond the needs of the government and the workers of Kogi State today will definitely has his name at stake. And for this reason, in the due consultations for which we have had, the committee members has asked me, the NLC chairman of Kogi State, to present to you Dr. Jerry Agbaji.
And efforts to ensure a speedy conclusion of the screening exercise of the civil service was never let down. It is again this backdrop that the governor, in his wisdom, also decided to set up a backup committee to serve as check and balance over the activities of the committee that was established by the government. And since then, efforts to clear the backlog of salaries of the staff, of the workers, had begun in earnest. The 21 local government areas across the state have all been cleared and paid.
Kogi State has 21 local government areas, many of which have considerable revenue-generating potential. Governor Bello therefore deemed it fit to detach the council areas from its apron strings and grant them financial autonomy. He also granted financial autonomy to the Internal Revenue Generation Board and set realistic revenue generation targets for it.
We are on board today in order to change Kogi State. So we will seek and urge your full cooperation with the chairman of the board, with government of Kogi State. The old order is over. We're on a new era. And we shall not condone any act of sabotage. Based on this year's budget, your target monthly is not going to be less than 9 billion.
The state judiciary also benefited from the governor's autonomy drive, and with it comes the hope of real justice for all and sundry in the state. Food security is a major issue across the globe, Nigeria inclusive. The popular saying has it that a hungry man is an angry man. Governor Bello is fully aware of this. He is also aware that Kogi State hosts a Jakarta Steel Company, Itakpe Iron Mining, and also hosts Dangote Cement Industry in Obajana. Kogi is rich in farm produce such as coffee, cocoa, palm oil, cashew, groundnuts, maize, cassava, yam, and rice. He therefore went ahead to initiate an agreement with a group of Chinese investors to make sure that food is in abundance for consumption, employment, and revenue generation purposes. Again, the significant history antecedents surrounding Lokoja, the state capital, is replete with monuments and relics which Governor Bello has strategically considered to preserve and develop into tourism destination.
Kogi State has all the potential to become the preferred tourism and business destination in the hinterland of Nigeria. The new direction blueprint, as promised during our campaign, is a Marshall Plan. It is a roadmap to lifting at least 1 million Kogites out of the National Poverty Index over the tenure of this administration.
First of its kind, for us to go understudied what is obtained elsewhere, to come up with something here for us to move on. Kogi can do more because we are harnessing all the avenue, especially the investors. We are talking with them, They have interest in coming to Kogi, and what they needed is enabling environment. And I think this government is ever ready.
The Kogi state capital, Lokoja, is a town with rich history. It was the first administrative capital of Nigeria under the colonialists. It was also the seat of several foreign and indigenous missionaries, including the famous Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther. But until recently, there was nothing to suggest this until Governor Bello began his sanitation drive to rid Lokoja of the filth that had taken over the city.
Before now, the streets are littered. The litters are still there, you would say. But the whole process of devising a system that will remove the waste from each individual houses, ensure that they are transported, and where they are kept, the management of the dump, there is a renewed attention to that. So we've had in-house capacity training. We have had to replan how waste is collected. For the first time, we have street cleaners.
The governor says his sanitation machinery will move across all the state's major towns in the not-so-distant future.
We intended to take it further.
Clean environment, and then the solid wastes are evacuated and taken out of the street, and then we have a very free society. Because they said cleanliness is next to godliness.
Governor Bello has also embarked on an extensive construction and renovation of social infrastructure in the state. What was being mentioned so far represents only part of the energetic and result-oriented start to Governor Yahya Bello's tenure as Kogi State Governor. Aside the payment of inherited salary liabilities, he also settled debts and other irregularities among contractors for jobs initiated by previous administrations and made them return to complete all abandoned projects. He used his international influence to secure World Bank assistance in the provision of vehicles to facilitate tax collection and monitoring in the state. There is so much talk about Governor Bello's at the helm of affairs. That was why on July 4th, 2016, he gathered major stakeholders in the state to give an account of his stewardship and disclose how he intends to transform Kogi State to become the reference point for second tier of governance in Nigeria.
I thank Almighty God. I thank the good people of Kogi State who have been supporting me in every way. My coming into this office is by providence. That is, there's God's hand in it. So whatever I'm going to do, I'll make sure my conscience guide me. And I saw that I'm going to rule or lead democratically.
On January 27th this year, the government of His Excellency Alhaji Yahya Bello took flight. Miraculously, it was clear from the onset that all was definitely not well with us as a state. There were very serious issues which you could liken to the engine of a vehicle that was almost grounded. And it was essential for that engine to be revived for us to get to the destination that we all crave and desire. And that His Excellency swore an oath to take us there together. It's not a hidden information that certain persons who probably believe they've lost out of the political equation have made it their daily assignment to throw spanners directly, indirectly, in the good gesture and genuine gesture of this administration.
The government started by ensuring that the labor that were on strike were called on board so as to continue with their work. And in doing that, the government has to put straight to them the available figures, fact and figures of the allocation to the state. And to let them know that the figure we have presently is not like what we have in the past. A situation where we have a dwindling revenue coming to the state, and the difference is up to 60%. And on that basis, What government has to do is to discuss with their banker and ensure that government activities has to continue. And to do that, we need some-time overdraft. So I've seen here, ladies and gentlemen, the allocation is not enough, and the bill is keep on increasing. And as we know, from the allocation, federal allocation, the money is coming down, and it will continue to come down until when the situation improves.
The committee's terms of reference includes, among others, to draw modalities for the effective screening exercise in collaboration with Zenith Bank technical partners to determine the actual number of existing legitimate workers of the state civils to public service. The committee issued biodata forms to e-civils and public servants based on the nominal roles submitted by just government institutions existing within the framework of the Kogi State Civil Service, local government authority, local government education authority, tertiary institutions, agencies, parastatals, and Kogi State Charter of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners. Apart from pensioners, a total of 9,720 or about 9,720 persons across the sectors who obtained forms did not show up for the screening. This figure has therefore reduced the workforce.
As an auditor, our duties is to raise alarm. We are now raising that alarm. From College of Health Science and Technical College, IDA, Technologies, thank you for that. One Mr. Ojo Oyewumi from Yaba East is a staff of Yaba East local government. He made all his withdrawal for the past 15 years in Lokoja, and yet his form is cleared and inputted in the clean list. Mustafa Hawa, a staff of the Kina local government, made all her withdrawal in Kaduna State, and yet this form is being cleared and inputted in the cleared list. 3. Ojonuba, Ojone, Ojota, a staff of the Kina also, made all his withdrawal in Lokoja for the past 10 years. Does it mean there's no bank in the Kina? Does it mean he has never been to the Kina to make at least one single withdrawal? But yet, the screening committee screened such person as against the guideline and the template of the screening. It was discovered that 40 untreated form was included in the screened list. You see, these are the list of people. They are cleared, inputted in the screened list, but their form has never been touched. I don't know how they get their name into the screening list. Lastly, 118 forms were cleared but not captured in the clear list. You know, as of today, people are crying. These are genuine workers. Cleared, genuine, but their name is nowhere to be found in either the cleared or the exception list.
That beat people's imagination. It was his desire to give credibility to the entire exercise and to ensure that no genuine worker is negatively affected.
Fearless. Then you have to be hard in your decision making. In fact, I want to assure you that the God of the disabled, the hopeless, the needy are there to fight for you.
First advice is to the audience here. At least we have heard what Our Excellency have said. It is our duty and responsibility to take it, those that were not privileged to be here.
We didn't know what was happening until now that you call us to brief us. So when we go out, we should be able to say, no, this is what we had. And in comparison of what your commissioners have said.
The university has a law, and the governing council, of course, is the employer of every staff in the university. And as a result of that, appointments that were made with the approval of the governing council are seen to be legally made.
I believe in what the governor said in his speech recently. Our coming together has a divine hand, and the person in power is divinely ordained. It's left for those who don't respect God to try and challenge him.
Let us all work together. Let us cooperate. Let us advise him when it's necessary. He's a human being like we are, all of us, so that we can go forward.
The government of Alhaji Yahaya Bello is trying everything humanly possible to ensure that the proper thing is done, because good governance, as he has always said, is anchored on justice, fairness, and equity. So he will not be found wanting if we allow things to happen the way it had been happening. So to eliminate the status quo ante, to change the tide and embrace the new direction agenda, hardships have to be encountered. We should also appreciate that anything human, there's no perfection. There were hiccups here and there, and our people, our officials are working day and night to correct all these hiccups.
When I came in initially as an administrator of Ajaokuta local government, my first salary schedule was 100 and something million. It was scrutinized to the extent that the governor even wanted to arrest some workers. What is my way bid today? It is 68 million. Is it not the same people that prepared the first one that prepared the last one? Where did those 40-something million went to? Where did it come from? Where did they manufacture it from? Where did they go? What did they do? They implemented some promotions that were not there. They increased the name. There is no way you can change a system that has been so rotten like that of Kogi overnight. Things that were not being owned by Alhaji Yahaya Bello, he met it on ground, and he's trying as much as possible that any genuine worker, I repeat, any genuine worker will not be sacked or punished unjustly.
The flood of commendations, acknowledgements, wishes and aspirations expressed through the various social media platforms is a confirmation that people from within and outside Kogi State have bought into Yahaya Bello's vision for the state. And there are those who are only too willing to express on camera their feelings about what many have described as Kogi State's new dawn.
Before, about 4 years ago, Lokoja, Kogi State Ejikota does not have a good road. Even though it is approving before, they have not done the work. But in Yahaya Bello regime, we see that everything is done well.
I want to say that within the shortest period it came in, if it's able to re-engineer the civil service very well, I think that will really help the state.
We heard that some areas have been discovered that there's no schooling existing in that area. There's no hospital. There are no other things. Ghost workers. And what I want government to do, not to discover those places alone, just make sure arrest those people if possible. Let their names be published in the newspaper, so that this one will serve as a deterrent to others.